you and everything that has made headlines for you?
Yeah, actually, what really got my attention this week was the Ghana Securities Exchange permitting Chipper Technologies as a broker, stock broker. And you know, it's very interesting that for so long, our stock market has been put down because out of a population of 44 million, we have only 130 investors investing in stocks. You can imagine that.
Okay.
So there is quite a low adaptation and low awareness regarding the stock market. So, but now there is no excuse for the investors. Technology has been made much more closer. I mean, you can actually be on your phone as long as you have access to the application. You can actually buy stocks. Any local company, and you can earn a profit. By the way, you know that. You know, currently there is something that is being put else everywhere. You know that if you can make money when you're sleeping, you can never grow rich. Man has to work for it. So that's why we are looking at technology bridging the gap between stock investors and the companies that are selling those stocks. You know, so we find that it's also going to be, I hope, more developments are made whereby you can actually access stocks from other neighboring countries. For example, like in the stock market, stock market, to ensure capitalization. I mean, to increase the profitability. So you can see that was, to me, that was quite the killer of the week.
Speaking of cheaper cash, I think now people who are using it are now happy with the fact that the cheaper cash board is now more happy because now they've been recognized as legal brokers. But I need to first of all understand how these things really work of the stock, because these stock brokers now are making it easier for people through mobile phone, so you can easily invest and all that. But how viable is this into the world of investment, if I'm to say?
The viability, first of all, we can look at the aspect of security. For so long, people, like back in the days, people used to be on the stock, like you actually have to be on the board. You know, you wait, you're observing all this, but now you can monitor your stocks from home. Now, the viability of this is that these people, first of all, are regulated. You know, there is a penalty. And of course, before capital or any regulator in any country approves you to be a stockbroker, your capital must be really standing by. Because I believe Chipper Technologies, actually, they are valued at, about $100 million.
So they look at also the status of the company.
The company, the capital. Just like how you want to start up a commercial bank, etc., there is a capital requirement you need to have. So these are, because Chipper Technologies now is widely recognized. So by the time the Ghana Securities Exchange comes up and says, hey, I can trust you, be a broker, then good to go. So that's what I can say. It's the first step viability.
Now, also looking through, besides the cheaper cash technologies, which other report or which other topic caught your attention, and as you are actually having these interactions with the audience out there?
On Tuesday, I was in Owino. And you know, we're discussing the food prices that are rising. But in particular, this time around, we were looking at rice because, I mean, every person, I know you like rice.
Yes,
I mean, you go to every restaurant, you need to find a plate of rice.
Even when you go to schools, I think it's some of the two, rice and maize flour.
Exactly.
Is the order of the day.
Order of the day everywhere. And you know, the question is that in Uganda we grow our own rice, and of course we also grow food. But how come it's still expensive? And you know, these people in ground were telling me, in Uganda we have our rice. It's called kaiso. I think it's that's the
it's got a lot of stones in there. If I told you you're going to cook kaiso.
Exactly. So now that's the reason. Actually, one of the reasons they're saying that actually people because this rice is expensive, first of all, you know, and yet it's manufactured within here. You know. But these people are telling me something to do that. The reason why it's that way, of course, the transport costs, you know, and also the aspect that actually some trader told me it's of high quality. That's why we sell it expensive.
But basmati?
No,
kaiso.
Yeah. But I don't know how true that is, because then we also looked at the aspect that because they told me that majority of the rice that is consumed is actually from Tanzania. You know, and attributing to the fact that this rice is well parked very well, and so that's what these people were saying right there, down there.
Okay.
But of course, we can't also deny the fact that the rising transport costs. As you can see right there, that is super
From
different.
Tanzania.
Then that's super. With of course, it has stones in there.
Okay.
Then there is the Kaiso. It's 3,800. But then it could have been cheaper than that.
Okay.
You know that. So you know that. They say it's of high quality. That's what what they say. That's like contributing to that. And also, they were expressing the worries that schools are about to open.
To reopen.
And the majority of the schools, despite the fact that they increased the fees, they're also going to still cut on the expense regarding those items, like how they spend money to buy. If you've been buying 20 kilograms, probably, despite you've increased the fees, but you're going to cut it by probably maybe providing 15 kilograms.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the person selling is losing because they are investing in more to bring to you that, but it's not coming out perfectly like it ought to.
Well, also yesterday, good to see you reviewing something to do with the tax penalty scheme. How about that when you're interacting with most of these people, the road, for example, the motorists in there, and people who have actually fallen victim to this particular cause, what were your findings?
Well, first of all, it's coming to a week because we're examining the weekly how it's been impacting the transportation sector ever since the week. But it's very interesting currently. Okay. I'm going to tell a story here. Not really a story, but when I reached on the ground before I go to the interaction, this gentleman told me, for example, a route from Mukono, from Kampala to Mukono, he told me they can use a fuel of about 70,000. And after putting the passengers out there, you find that the profit you're getting from that journey, you may not believe this, it's 15,000. And that's on condition that if you're coming back for the second route, you get people personnel, like how you drive back and you get some other people on the roads. So that's the whole aspect regarding that. So these people are saying actually, at least let's negotiate. Actually, he told me there is a taxi which has about 10 million. Okay. Fine. And those are how many papers regarding that. And the challenge comes in that if you don't pay that penalty within 20 days, it increases. There is an increment of 50%. So if you are paying 100,000, so after 20 days and if you don't get clear, that means you need to be paying 300,000. So it's quite a pile on them, And the fact that they're driving less routes, they're releasing money much more and more. And these people are not merciful at all. The authorities, and what they are saying is that why can't we negotiate? And currently they are forming partnerships. Amongst themselves. The challenge we've been having is that the transportation business has been a little bit divided. Sometimes you find that there are so many organizations within there, and each organization has their own agenda. And now this gentleman was telling me we are uniting together. We go present, they talk to the Kampala Metropolitan Traffic to ensure that actually these papers, these penalties are reduced a bit. For example, if I have like 20 papers, at least one paper per month, because they can really not handle zero balance. Actually, majority, if you witnessed last week, we had quite a few vehicles. And actually, there have been quite a few. Of course, you find that majority of the people are scared, but not only the taxis, but also the private individuals. Though this time around, and actually another thing they were expressing is that these people can leave a Costa. A Costa may have like 20 papers, and it's lead free. But a taxi, even just one like this. But so unfair.
But our taxis are quite old lately. Most of them on the road are really, really, really old and worn out. But it's surprising. You can sit in a taxi that looks very old. Entirely, even you look at the chairs or the state of the steering wheel, or even the gear that the guys. By the way, these days they no longer even have a hooting button. They're actually using the same. The same. They actually don't use a hooting button anymore. in most of the taxes.
Most of the taxes,
yeah.
okay.
So you get to realize and ask yourself questions: what is really happening here? So that's the state of most of these taxis and passenger service vehicles. Now, also, Andrew, I want us to look at something to do with inflation. Reports regarding inflation. I think the rise of inflation in Uganda is something that we've got to realize this year. Steady, fast inflation is rising every other day that passes by, and it is actually now worrying to all of us, worrying the entire country, and economists are yet to give out answers. But the government says we will actually have to contain ourselves, live within the means.
Yesterday, the Minister of Finance made a statement that got my attention. I think it was, he mentioned that Uganda, there is hope, there is, let me say, a signs to economic recovery of Uganda. And he was speaking about that Uganda's economy, unlike other economies, it's resilient to global disruptions, economic disruptions. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, it was a statement coming from the man himself.
Okay.
And the inflation, of course, it's been really quite increasing month by month.
Okay.
Because I remember there was a month we had 6.5, was it 6.5? Then now 7.
Then we moved to 6.8, now 7.9, and we're waiting now for official figures from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics now to give us how far have we gone with our inflation. But the chances are already there that we've already increased, the inflation has already increased. And then, lastly, from our weekly submission of the topics here, we got an issue regarding migrant workers. So I think the issue to do with migrant workers is something of a huge discussion, with the fact that we've got a lot of Ugandans who normally move out of the country to go and seek for greener pastures.
Yeah.
So if you're to look at this particular concern, what is there to worry about now with this level of migrant?
First of all, lately, that situation right there has been kind of tight, unlike it was before. To the extent that recently there was a review, I think it was last month, 2 months back, was it 2 months back, discussing labor export companies, the cabinet sitting down to see how they can regulate them. Because realize that majority of these Ugandans actually are stranded on the streets, and they are left. And I mean, because now a time has come whereby these countries, Arab countries, are now putting their citizens first.
Yeah.
See that? And now that is becoming quite a challenge. And also, looking at most of those countries which they have been running to, Dubai is quite, because you find that somebody is going to spend about 6M. So another friend of mine, he told me, hey, they gave me this, but they told me to pay 7 million. So you find that with this rising standards of living, not so many Ugandans can afford that. And that's really quite very worrying, because as they're trying to reach there for greener pastures, as what it takes to get there is also an investment. And so it's becoming quite a big challenge. And also these Arab countries, they are also deporting some back lately. And I know families personally, I've been, and they're saying, our child called us. Just this week, a mother told me this. It's like, oh my God, our child is this, I don't know. So I think that's quite worrying, because
but my other concern would be regarding how people get these passports ready to prepare for the visa and process their working permits in there. Someone sells a plot of land at home, or maybe property at home worth 10 million, 15 million. You will find out someone using over 15 million
just to go
abroad. And then you ask yourself questions: where does this money come from? Now, moving abroad, they get for example, contracts that are not even exceeding a million Ugandan shillings. So at the end of the day, you're working for 600,000, 800,000 a month. And then you have to support people at home, because ideally the picture is, once you're moving out of the country, you have money. Once you're moving out, obo for summer in most cases. So the Basama have to be with money. So you have to, sometimes people end up faking lifestyles to impress those back at home, even when things are not okay. And at the end of the day, you get to realize after 2 years of the contract, 2-3 years of the contract, someone returns home and literally nothing has changed about their life. Yes. And then you wonder, why wouldn't they use the other money to at least evolve into the business? So I would wish to understand who seals these deals of these people, because at the end of the day, I expect these people think when you move out of the country, you're going to earn more money, and the chances there. But as we look at the reports we are getting every other year, you get to realize things are not okay. And when you look at also something you mentioned here, due to the preparations of the World Cup in Qatar, the country suspended migrant workers. And this has affected those who are actually paying to go and work from there.
Actually, that one I had some real experience on that. There's a guy that was constructing somewhere. He told me, Andrew, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to Qatar.
Okay.
Construct. He's an actually. I'm like, okay. So I'm not surprised about that because actually, in the last 3 years, because in most cases, if a country is preparing for World Cup, you're a sports fan, how long, what's the duration they normally take to prepare? Because it's every after 4 years. So actually, once they find out, I think they can even prepare 8 years in advance, right? Because
once you win the bid, that's 4 years prior. So once you win the bid, you're preparing. Now in the final year, with the final month of preparations, is because they want to create room for that image of the country. The country shouldn't be recognized as a country of immigrants, if you were to put it in that way. So that means you're supposed to have been there a year ago, you have a contract running, you're already attached to a company or attached to maybe if I told you a household, you're already attached in there. Because what Qatar wants to prevent is bringing in lots of people who will be stuck in their country after the World Cup. And you can get to realize how Arabs are very strict people in most of these things. Just like in the United States, they have to be very strict when giving out the visas and all that to prevent immigration and the number of non-citizens going into the country. We can't go deeper into why, because there are quite a number of factors why these countries don't want a lot of people coming in from outside. They bring in a lot of cultures, and you never know.
And those people are so conservative in regarding to
culture preservation and all stuff. So as you look at that, and briefly, according to research from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics and the International Labour Organization, Ugandan youth aged between 15 to 29 years face several hurdles in the labour markets. And in the last 6 years, Saudi Arabia has been destination of choice for many of our Ugandan youth searching for employment, with the country taking at least 75.2% of the total migrant workers in the Middle East. So as you look at it in this way, this is exactly where we are moving in. So Saudi Arabia has been taking most of the country, most of the Ugandans to Saudi Arabia. But Bakadama go to Saudi Arabia, then others opt to the United Arab Emirates, then there's Qatar, Turkey also comes in there, but mainly the Middle East is one of those. Oman, those are some of the countries where our Ugandan workers go to.
But talking about migrant workers, I'm looking at the aspect that, I mean, there are other markets despite Saudi Arabia, despite the Middle East. But just the only challenge is that why most of the Ugandans seek for these places is that some of these people actually need labor, which is not really so skilled. And the disadvantage we have that majority of our youths actually are school dropouts. And you find that that's why the challenge comes in. Because yes, it's okay, you can survive in the United States when you don't have skills, but still, you need to have a certain element of, they call it an intellectual touch, which actually majority lack. But I would think that we could probably think of other markets, because we cannot avoid labor migration. Even there are people that are the citizens of the United States of America, but they work in China, work in Europe.
But anyway, as we're starting up with this report, if I'm to give you some key guidelines in here, just be cautious. If at all you're planning to leave the country and seek for greener pastures and seek for better employment opportunities, or at least to go and work from the Middle East, you need to at least look forward to getting yourself in contact with a licensed company, a labor exporting company that is licensed by the government, because at least here you will get to understand how safety works. You will be safer with these particular companies. So try to look out for people who are out of the country so that they can easily refer you to companies that they know are very...
And I think that's the best way out. If you get a genuine company, they can even pay for you the visa, you get there, and you avoid this whole brokers. And
because we are actually preventing also human trafficking and all those things.
Exactly.
So to at least be safer and get yourself a better job opportunity out there, seek for or look for a licensed company, and you are good to go in that. So Berija Andrew, as we are summing up with our weekly topics, your parting shots to the viewers.
Well, what I can say is that, of course, it's a new month. You know, it's a new month, and of course, there is that urge to make new prospects. And of course, remember when the year was beginning, you had written down your prospects for this year, what you expect. Now the question is, it's September, literally, just 3 months, I guess, 2-3 months left to complete the year. So examine that whatever you put down, what have you achieved? Are you achieving something? Even though you may not have achieved all you have, but at least it would be something very great to ensure that at least you have 10% of the 100% prospects you put up for this year. That's really progress. You may not have the 100%. So this is the right time. And this is also to help you as the other part of the year comes. Of course, to wind up the year, you get prepared yourself and you'll be perfect at what you do. So be cautious of every decision you make. Remember, time never waits for no man. Yeah.
And you can get Barija Andrew tonight at 10 p.m. with Smart Tech as he discusses technology in business and how you can use technology to tap into business opportunities that rise in that perspective. We started the week in the month of August. We've ended the week in the month of September. Funny, isn't it? But quite interesting after all. And have a blessed weekend and have a good day as well. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Our website is www.smart24.tv. Then YouTube is Smart24 TV Live. Please do subscribe as well. And then our other social media platforms include Twitter at Smart24 TV, and then Instagram Smart24_TV, and then Facebook Smart24 TV Official. All right, we shall leave you with more from the SMB. No comment, but later on coming up will be Anthony Sebale with financial markets. Yugi Tokole will be coming up later on with Fred Makubia, and of course Skill Up with Naomi Mutumba, Jenkolela with Hassan Nduga. Tonight, Smart Tech with Barija Andrew, and there is also Business Today at 9 p.m. Have a blessed day.